So in this particular lecture, I'm going to be talking to you about HTML. So I'm very sure most of you are already familiar with HTML. If you have been using Shiny for a while, you know that actually Shiny renders HTML. So HTML hypertext markup language is one of the language of the web. So most of what you see on the web is based on HTML. Out of the text you see, most of the text you see, the fonts, most of these or the images you see, they're all based on HTML. Then if you want to style it, you can now use CSS. If you want it to also make web things on the web interactive, we could use JavaScript. So we're going to be talking about HTML in this particular lecture. So first of all, HTML uses what we call tags. We have various kind of tags. So make sure you already have you have already gone to the link to resources. So you can see under the Web Development Foundations folder, you go to HTML, then you go to this particular first file, which is the one HTML. I named it as one HTML. This is an RHTML file. So you can create an RHTML file by going to this drop down and you can see RHTML. So it's easy to render more than just creating a regular HTML. You can also create a regular HTML in R. So I can just create a regular HTML by naming this. I can say a.html. So this is going to be a regular HTML file, as you can see it. So I could also do that. So this is my RHTML file. So we're going to be talking about tags. So what are tags in HTML? Well, if you are somebody that have not used HTML before, tags are actually like containers, or we can just say like a boundary or a case where you actually put in your text. So we have two types of tags. We have paired tags and we have self-closing tags. So in paired tags, when you insert a text inside paired tags, you have to make sure that you insert the opening. Like you can see this I love R. This is the opening tag, and this is the closing tag. Or this is also a div. A div is more or less like a container. It can contain one or more. I can put in this, for example, this I love R here. I can also put in, let's say this is my div. I can also put in another statement. Let's say I love Shiny. So I can do something like this. So this is that is how a div works. So a div doesn't necessarily doesn't contain text. It's usually used to contain other tags that contain text. So these are examples of paired tags. Then we have what we call self-closing tags. So this kind of tags, they are actually self-closing just from their name. So you means it's not necessarily for you to put in a closing tag. So these are example of self-closing tags which you can actually use to contain maybe elements, or we have what we call attributes which are usually inside. So you can see, for example, this is that of input. So you can see input now, it have the type which is text, it has placeholder which is your name. So let me just render this for you now. I'm just going to make sure you click on this knit button here. Once you click on this knit button, then it's going to knit it for you. So if you haven't installed a package called knitr, so it's possible you might face some issues. So you try to install it, install.packages knitr. So in case you are facing any issue of knitting. So you can see the I love R. You can see the output here. So forget about any other thing you are seeing on the screen. Let's concentrate on what we have just talked about. And you can see that of the inputs. You can see it here. Enter your message here. So you can see this is for the output that we did. This is I love R, and also this is for the input. So you can see the placeholder, your name. You can see it here. So this one doesn't need a closing tag. It is self-closing. So these are the two major tags that we have. So we have what we call structured tags. Structured tags constitute the skeleton of an HTML page. So when you go to an HTML page, these are the three main structure you can see. We have what we call title, which can contain various metadata about your page. We have what we call head too also. We have title. Title contains the title of your web page. We have head, which can contain various metadata. We also have body, which can contain your text, your image inside that particular page. We also have what we call control tags. These are actually tags that include external resources and also provide interactivity for the user. So you can see we have something like the input tag and we have the text area. So when I knit earlier on, you could see the text area here. If you have a longer message, enter your message here. And to also have select also. You can see select is also another type of control tag. You can see the select here. you can see this is select tag. I provided 3 options here using the value attributes, HTML, CSS, and JS. And under these options is a type of tag that you can see I put in my text, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So this is it for the select. If you also look at the button too, also this is the button. So this is the button also. This is the button tag. So when you click on this button, so you can see the attributes. You specify the type, which is a button, and on clicking it, what should you do? It should show you alert hello. So if I should knit it now and click on my button, click me, you can see I'm seeing hello. So this is not my browser. If you actually wanted to show on your browser, you could just press this button here. It's going to take it to your web browser. So this is just my R window. If I click on this, it's going to take me to my web browser. So you can see this is my web browser. So it's based on your choice. You can actually set it to knit directly to the web browser, but this is also okay. So that is it for the various tag structure that we have. Also, formatting tags too. Also, you could also format your tags. I told you earlier on that we could use the p tag to specify a text. So this is B, which means bold. You can use this to bold your text. This is I, which means italics, and this is M, which means emphasize. So this emphasize too also is also another type of tag. So when I knit it earlier now, you are going to see it. So you can see this is bold text. You can see the text is bold now. You can see, and this is italics text, and this is emphasized text. So you can see this is emphasized text. You can see them. Italics and emphasized are almost as similar. You can use them interchangeably. So HTML tags elements usually obey the box model or the flow layout model. So what do we mean by block? What we mean by block is that elements may contain other tags and take the full width. That is a block or inline. So let me show you now. You can see this. This is a block element. It's going to take the full width. You can see it's taking the full width of this particular page. So this is a block element. And also you can see we also have another block element, which is P. Then what do you mean by inline elements? These should actually printed on the same line. So they cannot contain block tags. So you cannot use block tags like div. Div is a block tag. You cannot use that because it's an inline element. It only spans inline. So this is an example of an inline element using the P tag. I did an inline element. So this is the inline element here. This span style. So I'm using the span tag. Mostly use the span or the A tag for inline elements. So this is the inline span. So you can see it's just spanning within this particular line. So if you notice earlier on, I'm using an attribute called style. So this is CSS. You can actually use this attribute style to give a color to your text. So I've put this style attribute inside the span. If I put this style attribute inside P tag, for example, so let's say I just copy this now and put it in the P tag. So I'm going to just I'm going to put this, I'm also to put a quotation mark. And if I knit it, you can see that the old P tag is already red. So that is CSS, in case you are not familiar with CSS. That's how it works. So also the same thing I did here. We have various CSS attributes. So use the style to specify your CSS. When you have a lot of CSS to do, then that's where you have to create a CSS file. So what I just did here now, we just put the CSS directly inside the HTML. It's another way of using CSS. And we have this padding is also part of the CSS attributes. When we go to CSS, we are going to see a lot more about this. Okay, so now this inline span now, we have already talked of block elements, we talked about the inline elements. Next, we're also going to inline block elements. So what do we mean by inline block elements? So these are elements that allow one to insert a block element in an inline. So you can actually, these are more or less like the combination of the two we have already talked about. So you can see inline block elements. This block element is now what? Inline. You can see our span here. And you can see we have give it this attribute. This is attribute, CSS attribute is what makes it a what? It's what makes it a inline block element, not the HTML tag that we used. It's because of this CSS attribute that we used. So which means anything we put here now, if I should add another thing here now, let me just copy this. Don't worry, this is going to show as a text. I'm just going to copy it to just see what I'm explaining now. Anything we put inside this span is going to be inside here. So let me create a long text now. So let me just say the quick brown fox jumps over a lazy dog. This is it. So let me knit it. So you can see that everything I'm putting here is within this particular block, because I've already given this block a width and dimension. So this text now is not going to exceed this particular block, as you can see. So this is an inline block element. So this is the flow layout and bulk model in an HTML document. So this is just a diagram of how to understand it better. So I got this from the book Outstanding User Interfaces with Shiny. So most of the materials used in this course were actually from that book. So this is the block direction, and this is the inline direction. So a block direction goes like this, and inline direction goes like this. So you can see it. Now these are what inline elements: inline 1, inline 2, inline 3. So you can put various inline elements inside a block. You can see it block 1, and this is block 2. So now within an element in a block, so the element in a block, that is the outer edge or the edge of an element in a block. Let's say, for example, you have a square or a text with the boundary of a block. That space is called padding. This is very important you understand this. When you go to CSS, you'll see how we make use of padding. This is called the top padding. This is called the bottom padding. You can see it. So all this space between an element in a block and the block boundary is called a padding. Why the space between two blocks is called a margin? As you can see, it's the space between two blocks is called a margin. So this is the top margin, this is the bottom margin. So the space between two blocks is called a margin, and this is the flow layout. So flow layout. So this is the box model. This is the flow layout, this is the box. So you can arrange various elements in a block. When you're arranging various elements in a block, you are arranging them what? In line. So those particular elements are now inside a block. So now I'm going to go to the second HTML file. This is the simplest HTML skeleton you can get. I told you that we have HTML title, we have the head, and we have the body. So this is the title here, which is in the head. This is the body. All your text will be in the body. Most of what is in the head, you can't see them. They are only meant for the HTML document and for SEO. So if I should knit this, you are going to see that you are only going to be seeing hello world. So anything I'm going to put in this document is going to go into this particular body tag. So HTML is just like the main container or the wrapper, and the head and the body are the two main children. So you can put most of your dependencies like CSS, your JavaScript inside your head. So everything is going to be inside this particular head. Most of what is your HTML page is dependent on. But most of your contents are actually be going to the body. So now if you go to the third HTML file, as you can see, most of this HTML, please don't go there, because these are the R has to render it to an HTML. That's why you're able to view it after knitting. So most of these files, you will notice it, always go to the R HTML files, except if I specify so. So this is an example now where I'm adding a P tag now to our hello world, and giving, this is my style. Use the style tag to give your CSS dependency. So this P tag means that I'm assigning what? The color red to this particular hello world. So when I knit this now, you can see the hello world has turned color. So the color has already turned to red. If I should give another tag, let's say for example now a div tag, this hello world color is not going to change. You can see I've already specified the type text/CSS. So this CSS is applied to my text. The language here also is also what? English, which is also specified on the HTML tag.